Hello everybody, my name's Randy Wittis. That's my 67 Chevelle, and if you've been watching, you know on video number 89 we were going to replace the hinge pillar. Not this one, it's this one over here. So in video 89, you know that we completely disassembled, obviously, and we were waiting for parts. Well, parts have come in. Here they are. We know about this one, had it for a while. We're waiting on this one right here. That's inside kick panel, and then that's cowl piece. So let's get busy. Ready, set, go. No. Whoopsie. Gonna hurt. Okay, well, there's a couple things I have to do before we start assembling. That is, remake this piece. I did not order it hoping that it was going to be fine. And you know, if I didn't really care, it would be fine-ish. But once you're this far, you might as well go all the way. So what I've got to do is I want this out in one piece because I need to use this as a template. So I've got to split the rocker panel down here, which means drill holes, cut them out, use my spot weld cutter and cut that out, and hopefully remove this in one piece. Let me grab a light so you can see down in the hole, because you know I can't even see down in the hole. And that noise I'm making is called old man noise. Okay, so that's where we are. This chunk of metal here is the old kick panel, and you see that's completely garbage. But you know, there's rust down in there that went to this panel. The thing is, it's just gotten thin. See the big pits? And I think some of them were through. Either way, it's going. So we got to make a new one. The other thing I wanted to go over and that I need to check, and before I remove that, I need to straighten this out and measure to the floor, because otherwise it's just something I want to do. I want to know where that needs to be. Over here I can kind of guess. I'll actually mark that with a marker. Let's do it right now so I don't forget. Yeah. Markers are everywhere until you need one. Yeah, there's one. I'm going to mark that as best I can right there. Oh, so I've got a cut right here that I was using that for a mark, a reference. Wow, see that? Fell right through the hole. Forgot I had a hole. Okay, well, that'll work. So those two panels, brace and then the inner, apparently are butted up right on their end. So that's something to remember. And that's straight still. That's where the hinge pillar comes down and then attaches to these two little ears. Let's see if we've got that or those on our other pieces. Because I'm finding that some other points of reference are not on these pieces. I don't know why I'm over here looking at that piece, because I haven't even made it yet. So, all right. One point of reference, I noticed this little cutout, which is good, but it's not on here. That was a point that they used to help line things up over here, you see. Another point, if you remember, on the hinge pillar, the inside piece, there was a hole. You can see it over there, a hole. And then there was this little V-cut that lined up in the middle of the hole. That's how we kind of got our reference for where this needed to fit. That was great. And I was thinking, well, hey, that hinge pillar is really gonna, or not hinge pillar, the inside windshield pillar is gonna help me line up this inner panel, but that slot's not there either. That little V. So we don't have this here. We don't have the V. The only thing that we're gonna have is the lower, well, the brace that goes on the other side of this, line up with that hole, and I'm not sure about this. We'll figure that out. So let's get busy tearing that brace out and make a new piece. See you in a minute. Okay, I got all my spot welds drilled. There's a couple in here, but we're really close. So chisel time. Okay. So apparently the rocker panel has an inner piece that only goes to roughly right here. So this was spot welded to that. Not very well, I will say. That's like it right there. And then up here is tack weld on the outside. As you can see, I can't get to the inside with the frame rail there. So good thing we've taken this piece out. I kind of recommend that even if this piece is good, that you take it out if you were replacing a hinge pillar and all this fun stuff. If it was just the hinge pillar, and everything else was good, you may not have to do this. There's our template. This is 14 gauge metal. And look, it's rusted out right there. Let's put it up to the light. Oh yeah. Rusted out there, down there, right there. Ah, that would have been fine. Nobody would have seen it. Okay, so I went and bought this big piece of 14 gauge sheet metal for 20 bucks. You can buy this part for 40 bucks most places. Got a couple little designs in it that I got to pay attention to. But anyhow, let's get to figuring out how to make that. Alrighty then. So I've done some cleaning up of my sheet metal. I put some weldable primer on it. as you can see. Straightened up my tabs, my flanges, my tabs, whatever. Drilled a little bigger hole here because this is like double thickness. This down here irritates me because not a lot I can do about it pitting wise, rust wise. Cleaned it up a little bit, put some weldable primer on it. Can't put any OSPO on it, can't weld through OSPO, makes your welds turn like crap. So that's just kind of the way we went, and it'll be fine. So now we turn to making that brace piece. My little stand things not wanting to work very well anymore. It's getting weak. So, alright, so I've flattened it out a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. And just kind of brought that up to the corner best I could. There. So I'm just going to trace this out, okay? And start here at the corner. It's going to be rough, but it'll get the job done, I think. Okay, so we're going to have to remember to cut to the inside edge. Should ground that off. A little spot weld there. Inside edge of this mark. Sure that this little dip right here, little half circle, whatever, is some kind of lineup. But, you know, probably isn't on the other panel, so it's not going to matter, you know what I mean? The way things go. It would make it a lot nicer if they paid a little more attention to that as far as things that, you know, old lineup. I'm not saying that word correctly, I know it. I'll come up with something else later, but places to line up with old factory stuff. So at least we could get the panels a lot closer. Here's a hole. Let's put this hole in there. Put this hole in there. Not that hole, it's a rust hole. Okay, something I want to do. This is another hole. I guess. I don't, was that a hole or a rust hole? I don't remember. I'm just trying to look at where the old spot welds were. So let's just do this. Spot weld, spot weld. Spot weld. We've got Let's do a little measuring. See how big that is. So that's 1/2 inch. Okay, that's a little bend we need to make. Right there. This is some kind of indentation. I don't know. It's not, it goes out the other way. I don't know why that's there. And we've got, let's see. This is over. Fun part's going to be cutting everything. And I'm tracing all this stuff out. And for example, I got to go on the other side when I roll this piece. Gotta go on the other side. Well, now I can beat that out. This has got to have a slight curve to it. Not sure that that's going to really matter. see comes down like this. It's kind of the taper of the floor. And fix that a little bit. We need to run it this way. Okay, I think we got some things figured out. Just got to cut it. We got to cut on the inside edge, or trim it later, one or the other. And cutting to this is going to be a little tricky. I think we got to do the old plasma cutter. So let me drag that out. Be back. It's plasma time. Well, do a little cleanup work. Turned off most of my lines. But what are you gonna do? same with those in it. Okay, so drill a couple holes. Looks like a piece. From that side to that side. Do a little cleanup work. And then we'll start doing some bending of some sort. It's got a nice slag on it. I think I'm going to leave that slag on there. Help keep it from rusting. That's what's on this table. Anyhow. Don't get me wrong, it'll rust. It's going to get primed anyway. So, for that far, I'm going to set up the bead roller and roll that thing and a couple of those things and go from there. See you in a minute. Okay, well, I wasn't sure if this was going to work since it's 14 gauge, but it worked. So what I did, set me up with a step down, anyway, one of those dies. You can see how big it is in relationship to everything else. Ran it through, followed my line. I got a step down and then a plateau. So that, to me, is what I need. So let me get the other piece and get a comparison. Is it exactly? No, it's not, because that one has a smaller step down, mine is a bigger step down. It's fine. Could I have adjusted those? I don't know, because you know what? I've not done 14 gauge before. I think that'll work. That goes in the pocket of the vent hole. Yeah, the vent hole. So we've got something else. We got a little step down here, which I think those are just, and it's tapered, and I don't, not sure about that, but let's see. So that'll step it down, so I need to flip it over so it pushes it out that way. I'm going to, that's not going to push it out that way, that's going to push this down. Well, it's kind of the same premise, I guess. I'm going to run it. I'm going to see what happens. You can hang out right here if you like. And move this. And I need it to go. I'm going to push that down, that one up. I need it to go that down and that up. Hopefully I don't knock you out of the way. If I do, I'm sorry. Well, kind of works. I guess a little more than I need, but it works. Gotta turn it. Run it this way. Duh. Turn that over. Go in reverse. That's not what I want. I can't see. I think that's enough. I don't think that's perfect, but I think that's, it got what we were looking for, and that was to push that up. So, a little more than I think we need, like I said, but let's compare quickly. Do that one. Do that one. Yeah, it'll work. It'll work. So in a sense, here we go. From this to this, I have this little bubble thing. I think that line is just a press mark. How are we going to make that? I don't know. Other than heating it and kind of hitting it. Or maybe I can just hit it on the sandbag. That's a straight line right there. Get my sandbag. Well, I marked it on this side. Got to go on this side. So it's a good thing it's already marked over there. I'm not going to go crazy on this. Like I said, I'm not sure what this is for. Sure, it has a reason. If I could hit exactly in the same spot every time, gonna look for something. I'll be right back. Okay, so found this. I think to kind of make maybe not. Yeah, hit my fingers. I knew that would be ugly. But that kind of worked. So we're going to leave it at that. Now this needs a slight arch to it. Okay, so we've got a slight arch going there. I don't know how much we need. Maybe I can figure that out over here. Oops, wrong side. I don't know if this even has. Yeah, it's got a slight arch. That's supposed to be oh yeah. Noisy. Okay. Well. Not even close. I move some stuff. Make room. I know this is bent right here. So let's bend this back. Got a little straightening to do, I think. Yeah, it should sit flat. I think that's a lineup hole right there, you see? And there's another one. Nope. There is not. Why? Oh, that goes the other way. Boy, that was weird. All right, so we're still working on this panel. I'm just checking right now. This hole that lines up with this hole. But also what I'm looking at is I've got some old marks where this panel used to be, right along here. It's roughly 5/16 distance from there to there, based on that. Now, it's not the most accurate thing in the world, but it kind of gives me a reference since this piece is just destroyed. And to check it on the new piece, if I take the old piece, which is flattened, a lot of the contours aren't there. There's a contour. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying. Because I've cut it to measure this way, basically. This being flush, this being flush, but it doesn't line up with that hole completely. And that's where we sit, and everything's flush. That's where we sit. So what I'm trying to get at is I'm just double checking stuff, try and get the best fit possible, and roughly 15/16. So can't go by the lineup hole, unfortunately. Luckily I had this panel to work with. And I'm still working on it. I mistakenly flattened a section out in here because it wasn't fitting properly. But as you can tell with this rocker piece, it needs that. There's a little indentation which would fit right here, like so. So while it was on the car, I kind of made that indentation, which anyhow, you can see it in here as well. Fits like so. So I need it to fit like so on this one, and as you can see, it does not. So I need, and it's weird because I needed it to bend that way, but I also need this to bend inward here. To fit. Sliced my thumb. It'll bleed in a minute, I'm sure. To fit, let's see, flushing up, everything flush. So that fits about 5/16, yep, okay. Now, we need our little, yeah, see, there it is. I need that indentation right here, but it tapers back in. Comes out and then back in because of this bend right here. And you see that. So that has to fit in there, like so. Complicated little part. So let's see. How can I? Well, just get the big stuff and make it happen. Go over to the heavy bag. Going to be in that vicinity, right there. I think that's pretty close, right? Gave us something. To make that work. Let's see. We'll see how that works when we put it up there. Go back over here. This is what I'm dealing with. So do I flatten that out? I think I need to. Complicated little bugger. Put these back in, see if they still line up. Okay. I don't like that. I don't. Well, that just went right back to what I just took out of it. try that. Okay, it's all right. Little hump there, little hump there. I don't think I can, but anyway, we'll see if it fits. Yeah, I think I remember what the problem was, and the problem is that one right there has to come off. Well, come on, there. Yes, no. There we go. Be right back. Okay, so that's that. We're fitting reasonably well up against the floor. It'll get there, which, you know, clamp can handle if that's the way it's supposed to be. This kind of bows out, so may need to move that way. See, that's bowing. Or close up here, everything's just close. I got a lot of work to do in here yet. As you can see, I made a mark. It's gonna be fun what I have to figure out there. Now, you probably won't have to deal with that, hopefully, but either way. So that's hooked up. I need to go back, start making this patch, and make sure that fits in the way I need it to. So let's go do that. All right, so through the process of doing all this, and the camera wasn't on, so as you can see, I flattened this out, left this one up here. So, and you probably don't really care about that anyway, but anyhow, so I traced that line so I can make this bend, and then added 3/4 of an inch for the flange. This is the other bend right here, and so on and so forth. So we're gonna go bend some stuff up. See you in a minute. All right, we're just gonna go hammer here. that. More than one way to skin a cat. Alright, got that. That resembles that little piece that was bent over. This was bent up this way. Better pay attention to what I'm doing here. Yeah, okay. Down, down. So this has to go up. And that means we go over here for this. Let me change my die. Be back in a minute. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so we got something that looks like a patch panel. Takes a little breath out of you. Yeah. That's in the ballpark. Make that fit. So that sandwiches, ouch, basically in between that and that inner flange. Of course I gotta remove that. Right on the inside. And I'll still have to remove it. Dang it. Looks like my corner's off somehow, but it fits right there where I cut it. Well, this is why we pre-fit. Gotta figure that out. Huh. Gonna go look at the other one, play with this a little bit, and be right back. Alright, so we made the beautiful little patch piece, and you never get to see it because it stays underneath there. But it's actually fitting fine. Anyway, there we go. So, yeah, well, that's how close it is, one way or the other. So it fits fine, got it leveled. It seems to line up on the back here okay, because this goes here. So we're good there. Now you say, Randy, well, how you going to weld that? Well, good question. I was thinking about that earlier, is I'm going to have to take this brace off so then I can weld in here which is to here, and put this brace back on. But that's the name of the game. So that piece is ready. We're still fitting things, including that. Now I'm going to take this all back apart. Excuse me, back apart to mess with that. See you in a minute. Hey everybody. Well, as you can see, we're priming that patch piece. What we have done on the kick panel part and the brace is I went through and drilled all my holes. I painted weldable primer on the back side. Then I left a few holes for alignment holes just to set it back down. Marked all my holes that I'm going to weld on, and now I'm going to clean the primer off. On those holes, and then I'm going to hit this with weldable primer. I didn't want the primer to give me an issue when I did my spot welds. See you in a bit. Okay, got it all primed up. I decided just to put this on so I don't have to deal with it later, as far as putting it in and all that kind of good stuff. So here we go. Hopefully it's not going to bite me in the ass. Okay, that does it for that. Clamped. I mean, I clamped it really tight so it wouldn't move. Plus, I had my alignment pins. Now let's see what the penetration looks like on the other side. Looks all right. Not all wonderful. Most of them look good though, I guess. Some better than others. I ran it as a 16. Maybe you should run it hotter. I try to run it hotter. I keep my nozzle really close, but according to my bubbles here, you know, not terrible. Seems to be a little cold, but it's stuck, so I don't think it's coming off. We'll let that baby cool down, and we'll go refit it again. Got some cutting to do first, and then we'll go refit it again. Get these ground up and clean off. So, see you in a bit. So, it's a little bit later, and we got the, you know, the inner kick panel welded in to the brace welded to the kick panel, and I've been doing some test fitting. It's got to all come back apart anyway. I just want to get things started, but video's getting too long. It's already an hour, so we're going to go into part 3 when we start really getting into this. See you in the next video. That'll be number 91.